Hi everyone, welcome to Jim's Orbit. In this video, we are going to cover the previous year questions of NTSC exam stage 2, and the chapter we are going to cover this time is trigonometry. It will complete all the types of questions based on trigonometry. Okay, in the last video, we have already completed the questions based on number system. So if you haven't watched it, please do remember those are very good questions, and comparatively this is simpler. Okay, and the number of questions are way too less. Just to let you know, there are only 7 questions, out of which the question number 1 is pretty simple, and you have the rest of the questions as you can see. This is a good question. This diagram wasn't there. It was being done by a graphic designer, and this is only to make you understand the question easy. Otherwise, the question will not come with the diagram. Okay, so remember this thing. We'll start with the question number 1 now. Why to waste our time, isn't it? So the value of this. Okay, this is a very simple question, and I think most of you have already done this question in the R.D. Sharma book and so on. So to solve this question, as you are already aware, you will get this kind of situation where they are all multiplying, but there are two properties to be used. The one is that okay, tan of theta times cot of theta is 1, and the complementary pair that tan theta, and I can write this as tan of 90 minus theta, because cot theta is tan 90 minus theta. Now you know that tan of 1, it can be written as tan of 1. This can be written as cot of 1. Why? Because if you replace this by 90 minus 1, you get 89. That's correct. But 90 minus 1, tan of 90 minus 1 is cot of 1. Okay. Now this term and this term when multiplied will become 1 because they are reciprocal, tan theta times cot theta. Okay. So similarly 2 will be cancelled by the 88 1. But this one will be left out. But this itself is 1 because tan 45 is 1, and hence the answer comes out to be 1. Okay. Pretty simple. I think most of you already know this. Let's move to the second question. Okay, in this question, remember, it's given that cosec x minus cot x value. Okay, to solve this question, you should remember one important identity transformation, or basically a little bit change in it. We already know that 1 plus cot square theta is cosec square theta, correct? So we can write that cosec square theta minus cot square theta is equal to 1. Just brought it here and written it first, simple. Now, the most important point is this can be written as a plus b, a minus b. So cosec theta plus cot theta times cosec theta minus cot theta should be 1. I can write this in this place, correct? I hope you understand now why. Because a plus b, a minus b, this is a square minus b square. So we can easily write this. We can easily write this also. The reciprocal of this value, whatever is this is the reciprocal of this one. So what is this? 1 by 3. So reciprocal of 1 by 3 is again 3. Now they are asking you to find the value of cos square theta minus sin square theta, or cos square x minus sin square x. Now you can easily use this as a linear equation, okay? So you can say if we add these two terms, we will get 2 cosec x, correct? And this will become 1 by 3 plus 3. Now these two will be cancelled out. Pretty simple. So this will give us 10 by 3. Now this is 2 times of cosec x. So what will be our term for this cosec x? It will be 5 by 3. Now you know cosec theta is reciprocal of sine. So sine x will be 3 by 5. But you know, when you know sine, you can find cos using simple. This is taught in like grade 10 starting trigonometry, correct? Using this triangle kind of thing, you make 3, this is 5, this should be 4. Kind of that. 3k, 5k, 4k. Okay. So you know sin x, you know cos x, and they are asking you to find the value of cos square minus sin square. You just know that this is 4 by 5, so this will be 16 by 25. This is 3 by 5, so this whole square will be 9 by 25. If you subtract them, you get 7 by 25. And that's our final answer, isn't it? 7 by 25, this one. Okay, easy. Let's solve the next one. Okay, in this problem, you are given the relation and you have asked a value of a in between two values. So there is a minimum, there is a maximum. Okay, in these kind of question, we do in grade 12 or something, we do maximum minimum. In grade 11, we can use the simple algebraic method, and this is what I'm going to teach you here. To solve this question, you should be aware of completing the square method, which is going to be used. Okay, it's a very good question compared to the rest. First two, those were very easy. So in this, what you need to do first, write the complete equation in just one variable. First of all, change the sine square into cos square, which will be 1 minus cos square. Correct. Now you write it properly like you are writing a quadratic equation. This is kind of a biquadratic in cos. Okay. So this will give us this value. Now, I hope if you remember, if you have seen my older videos of making the perfect square kind of thing that I have taught, this can be written easily in the form of cos square theta, obviously a minus b. So b is half. Why is it? Because a square. Now you can say that this can be written as, so consider this to be as like x square is cos square theta. Just consider this way. So x square is cos square theta. So this is what? And consider it to be like, no, not x square. Consider x as cos square theta. Okay. So this will be x square. This will be x. And this will be 1. I hope you remember how to make this in a perfect square. We write x, this square. We then see what is the 2ab term. Now 2ab term is given to be x. So b is missing, sorry. So b is missing. So 2ab. So a we know is x, b we do not know. But it's completing out to be as x. Now b becomes 1 by 2. Now obviously this is minus, so you should write minus. Then only you will get the minus after opening the brackets. Correct. Now this is why I have written cos square theta minus half square. I hope you got the analogy. Okay. So a square plus b square. But this is not there in the question. So you should remove the square of it. This is always the case. This is always removed. Minus times the whatever you have written here. Whatever is left out, just copy paste and write the other term. Now this you do not touch as of now. We'll let you know when to touch it. Okay. In this, this will be 1 by 4 negative. 1 minus 1 by 4 is 3 by 4. Okay. Now let us bring down and discuss this in detail. Okay. Listen to me now. It says that this is a value which is a perfect square. So this means this can be between more than or I'm not sure, but this will be greater than 0. Whatever this value will be greater than or equal to 0. It can never be negative. This means the least value it will take is 0. And you're adding something to 3 by 4. So the minimum value for the m will be 3 by 4. So it will be least 3 by 4 because this is the smallest value you are adding and that is 0. You cannot add less than 0 because this is always positive. So whenever you put something here, it will become a power 2, it will become positive, it will become adding to 3 by 4, it will be higher than 3 by 4. So the least value you get is 3 by 4. But what about the max value? First, let's check the option. Can we eliminate options? Okay, this is not true, this is not true, or this can be true or this can be true. So there are two things. So we need to find the upper limit also. Okay, listen carefully now. In this part, if you notice cos theta, there is a very good thing that you should be aware of, that this takes values between minus 1 and 1. Okay, so any value between minus and 1 and 1, it will be in the cos theta. This is called the range of cos theta also. Okay, in this point, we can say that, at this point, we can say that whatever value of cos square theta will be, it will be between 0 and 1. Because it is never going to be negative. When you are squaring a negative value, you'll get a positive value similar to the other side. It's already present. So you get between 0 or 1. 0 and 1 included. Okay. Now at this point, you can say the minimum was 0. So what was the maximum value of this term? 1. 1. So what is 1 minus half? Half. What is half square? 1 by 4. What is left? 3 by 4. So what is the value is? 4 by 4, which is 1. So we found that m can maximum be 1 because this maximum value is 1 by 4. If you find any other value, you will not find it. Now try to understand why. If you see cos square theta as say let us take it to be say 1 by 4. What is 1 by 4 minus 1 by 2? It is minus 1 by 4. What is minus 1 by 4 whole square? 1 by 16. Now obviously 1 by 16 is less than 1 by 4. So 1 by 16 is less than 1 by 4. So this not going to be the maximum value for m. Correct. So I need to take the maximum value. So 1 by 16 is less than 1 by 4 and hence this is the trouble. So we are running on to the maximum value for 1 by 4 only for this whole term. And that's why the maximum value is coming out to be 1. Okay. That's the answer. Okay. Fine. I hope you understood it. So now let's take the next one. So the option number C is correct and let's move to the next one. Okay. It says find the value of cos x degree minus sin x degree for this. Okay, if you know the curve, then it is a very easy question. If you do not know, then I'll teach you how to do that. Generally, we say that this is the curve for sine. This is 180. This is 360 degree. So we say at 90 it is maximum. You know about 90. Just talk about this 90. At 45 it gives us 1 by root 2. At 90 it gives us 1. Cos is different. For cos it starts with 1 and as you move at 90 it becomes 0. Correct. Now at 45 both are equal. At 45 degree both of these values are equal. Okay. So you already know this by the table also, correct? That at 0 degree cos sine 0 is 0, correct? Cos 0 is 1, correct? Okay. Then you also know that at sine 30 degree, this is half, this is root 3 by 2. Then 45 degree, this is 1 by root 2. This is what? 1 by root 2, correct? So at this value, cos curve, the yellow curve is of course, the cos curve is always more than the sine value for 0 to 45 is always more than. So value of this is positive. It's not sometimes negative. No, between 0 and 45, if you are talking about, it's always positive. Why there is no equality here? Very good question to be asked if you are thinking about it. Why there is no equality? Because then that value is 0 and 0 is not as purely positive. It's a non-negative value, correct? So you say the value is positive when 45 is not included, because when 45 the value becomes 0, correct? So the answer we get is that this is positive. You can always do this. 1 by 2 is less than root 3 by 2. Root 3 is 1.732. This is 1 only. So cos is more than sine, correct? So you can use this way. If you know the graph, you can use this way. Easy question. Okay, next. Okay, question number 5 says tan square theta is given as this value. Then the value of secant theta plus this. Now this is a very bigger expression to simplify. Rather than changing this here, something like secant square or something like that, it's better that you do one thing. You just first simplify this expression. Okay, so let's take this expression, secant theta plus tan cube theta into cosec theta. Okay, at this point of time, you can do one thing. You can write this as 1 by cos theta. This is 1 by cos cube theta. Oh, sorry, sine cube by cos cube theta. I'm sorry. And this will be 1 by sine theta. Now, if you notice one thing, you can cancel out one sine. So what will be left is 1 by cos theta plus sine square theta by cos cube theta. Okay. Now you notice one thing. We can take 1 by cos common. Now, if you take 1 by cos theta, you will be left with 1 plus sine square theta by cos square theta, because one of the cos theta is outside now. Now, if you take the LCM, this is a very good thing happening now. We get cos square theta plus sine square theta and 1 by cos theta. Now, if you see, this is 1. Okay. So this is 1 because identity exists, and 1 by cos square and 1 by cos multiplied, it becomes 1 by cos cube theta. Now we know this is nothing but secant cube theta. Okay. So we have to find the value of secant cube theta. So this got reduced to such a small value, secant cube theta. You are given tan square. So now it is better that you convert this into secant square only rather than converting into sine and cos. I hope you understand why I simplified this before doing this. Okay. So tan square is 1 minus e square. So we are given that tan square theta is 1 minus e square. You know, secant square theta minus 1 can be written as tan square theta. So secant square theta will come out to be 1 plus 1, 2 minus e square. What will be secant theta then? Root over 2 minus e square. Correct? We can write this as half power. Why? Because if you notice, all the options have half powers. So don't write under root. It's better to use half power like this way. That's same thing as root. Okay. Just the representation has changed. Okay. Now you have to find the value of secant cube theta. You already know the secant theta. So what would be the cube of it? Just the power 3 of it. So it will become 3 by 2. That's the final answer. Let's check for the final answer. 2 minus e square, which is this one, and power is 3 by 2. So this is the correct answer, the option 3. Easy, isn't it? So this finishes off the 5 questions. We are moving to the 2 questions. They are based on heights and distance or application of trigonometry part. Very easy. Just don't worry about it. I'll use some mobile phone and all to make you explain this. Okay. So let's start with it. A vertical pole of height 10 meters stands at one corner of a rectangular field. I hope you can see this one. This is a rectangular field. Okay. A vertical pole, this kind of a vertical pole, it is at one corner of the field. The angle of elevation, so someone is looking at the top of it, the angle of elevation of its top. So someone is looking at this point from the farthest corner. Now what is the farthest corner if I want to ask you? Like this is the pole, okay? This is the field, this is the pole, okay? Top part, okay? Someone is looking at it. Will you see from this point, this point, this point? Now, they are saying that this is the farthest corner. Now, this is not the farthest corner. This is the smaller side. This seems to be farthest, but actually it is not. The farthest is the diagonal side because diagonal is the longest length. Because Pythagoras theorem, no, this length and this length square is this length. So this must be the longest side. Now diagonal is there. Now whenever a person is looking, he is looking from this point, okay, this point. Now this person is looking this from this point. This is what has been drawn. Now notice one thing here, all of you please. You see, the pole is at A. Consider the pole top point be P. This is the pole top point, the pen name, okay. Someone is looking this from the point C. A, B, C, D is considered as the ground. This is the ground, the rectangular, okay, field or whatever, ground or field, okay. Now you are looking from this point C to the top. So obviously this point C from the top, as you are looking from it, this is the same thing. You are looking from it. This is the angle being made. And how much is the angle? It's 30 degree. Okay. It's 30 degree. Okay. This is the 30 degree. So someone is looking at it. So you can see there is a right angle triangle forming right away. It's always a right angle triangle because this is perpendicular to the field. Correct. So this is 90 degree. This is 30 degree. This length actually CP, if you are understanding this point, this length is coming out to be as the top side. This is not the diagonal. Don't confuse and think that CP is the diagonal. No, it is not. It's like, okay, let me get one more pen. Okay. If you see like this will be like this. So the pen is going like this. This is the pen line. The CP line is this pen line. Pen is not the diagonal. This is the diagonal. Correct? Which is what? Which is AC. AC is the diagonal. So we know AC is the diagonal. Okay, consider it as D. I'm considering it as D. Okay. So AC is the diagonal. And what is AP? What is AP? AP is the length of the pole, the height of the pole. How much it is? 10 meters. Okay. So now you know one angle, you know this, you know this. You know tan will work out to find the value of D. So the length of the diagonal will be tan. Okay, not directly. Okay. Okay, sorry. So tan 30 degree will be 10 by D, perpendicular by base. Now this will give us tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So 10 by D. So D will be 10 root 3. So the diagonal length is 10 root 3 meters. We don't want diagonal because that's the question is not asked. The area is being asked. But that's a different case. Let's wait for it. Okay. It's then written while that from another corner is 60 degree. Now they have not mentioned which corner. It can be any corner. Okay. So just think about it, okay. This is very far. So 30 degree. So I think this should be the other corner, the smaller one. That's why you look up. Correct. If it is very far, that's why you look very up. It's very near, sorry, it's very, height is very high and you're very close, then you look up. If the height is high and you're looking from far, you just look like this. Correct. So this is the point. Now this time you're looking from this side, okay, this side, and you're looking like this. I'll try my best again because I'm just a one guy doing so many things. Just a minute. Okay. I hope you can get like this. Okay. You see this? Correct. So this is the pole. This is the blue pen, the blue white pen. Correct. This is the line coming out. That angle to be 60 degree. Okay. So now you see this angle is 60 degree. It's the angle 60 degree. It's in 3D. That's why you need to understand this. It's looking at the same point P. But remember that there is another line. So this is angle A is again at 90 degree. It is. This is going to be 90. You think no, it is not. It is. Okay. Why it is? Just think about it. It came out like this. So angle A is the vertical pole point. So that is always 90. Angle A is the vertical pole point. Okay. I hope you understood it. Okay. So from B you are looking at this is 60 degree this time. Now height is again 10 meters and you are looking for AB length. Now I am considering AB as X. Okay. So what will be AB? So we can write that tan 60 will be equal to 10 upon X. This time it is root 3. So 10 upon X. So X will be 10 by root 3. Now you know one thing, that it was a rectangular field. One side was X. The diagonal was D. Let's consider this is Y. Rectangular field, diagonal was D. One side came out to be X and this is Y. It doesn't matter which side is X or Y. I'm just saying that. Let's say. Okay. Now the X square plus Y square should be equal to D square. Correct. Now you know that X is 10 root 3. So 10 by root 3 whole square. Y we do not know. And D is the 10 root 3 value. Whole square. Now this will be 100 by 3 plus Y square 100 into 3, so 300. Now, so y square will be 300 minus 100 by 3. It will give us to be exactly equal to 900 minus 100, 800 by 3. When you take the root, it will become 400. So 20 in root 2 by root 3. This is the value for y. Okay. One of the side is 20 root 2 by root 3. Other side is 10 by root 3. And they are asking us to find the area of the rectangular field, which is easy. Area is nothing but, yeah, correct. So area is length into width. So xy. So x is what? I'll put the values. So x is 10 by root 3 and y is 20 root 2 by root 3. Root 2 into root 3 will become 3. 200 root 2 by 3 meters square or square meters. So option number 1 is the only option which satisfies this. Okay. A pretty good question. I hope you will understand. Just when you are looking at this diagram, just think that ABCD is in the ground. Then only you will be able to visualize it completely. Otherwise, the colors will mess your brain. Okay. Last question of this chapter or this part of the mathematics for NTSC exam. It's again a similar question. Okay. The only thing they have changed is the shape of the field. Now, this time the field is going to be equilateral triangle. Okay. Simple. Okay. ABC is a field in the form of an equilateral triangle. You see ABC here. Okay. Two vertical poles of height 45 and 20 are situated at A and B respectively. So A has got a pole AP. Okay. I'll keep the phone here. I cannot show by phone now because that's a rectangle. So AP and BQ. Okay. Now you notice AP is one of the pole, height 45. BQ is another pole, height 20. That's half of it, actually less than half of it. Okay. The angle of elevation of the tops of the two poles, of course, from C are complementary to each other. This means I'm looking from C now. Just visualize. You are looking, sit in your room, okay? It's another way of visualizing it. Sit in your room, okay? Think that there is a front wall in front of you. Obviously, there is a front wall in front of you. There's a wall, okay? Just look at the ground line of it. The ground line of it. You are looking at it. Now bring those two lines, the end points of the two rooms of that wall, the two end points, bring it and join it towards you. It will become like a triangle, correct? Think that it is an equilateral triangle. I hope you got it. Now, in that room, okay. So you are sitting in your room, okay? So these are the two, and you are sitting here, and you are here, okay? Think like this way, okay? I'm giving you another way of understanding it. So you are this person, okay, and these are the two ends of the front wall, okay. Now at this point, this is the pole, the one pole, and this is the smaller pole, okay. So your wall is there, but you just take it off. There are two things, okay. Now you notice one thing. What is happening? This is how it has been done, okay. Now you notice one thing. I am seeing this top of this pole, which is the point P, and this is Q. So here I am watching it. So we are watching it, correct? Let's watch it. I'll change the color, okay? So I am watching it. There is some angle of the elevation because I'm looking at that side, correct? Now I'm looking at this side top, okay? See, this is the second. Now these two angles, that is the alpha and beta, they are complementary. So this means what you know, that alpha plus beta is 90 degree. This is what complementary means, grade 6, 7. Okay. Now, and you know what this is 90 degree because that's just vertical. That's plain perpendicular. That the wall line. This is how I'm thinking, correct? There are two endpoints. There are vertical poles. That's perpendicular to the surface. So I'm looking at it. There's a 90 degree forming. Correct. This is the 90 degree. Okay. This is 90. Remember, this is 90. This is in 3D. Okay. There is a point D on AB. Now there is a point D on AB. Somewhere, so that line, that the ground line, the front wall ground line. Now this line, this is the line, correct? This is B point, this is A point. Okay. So this point, I'll change the color to something like orange. Okay. So something between this line, at this point, there is a point D. And this point, you are looking at again the pole, someone is looking at this pole. And this is what it is happening. And these two angles are coming out to be equal. These angles are coming out to be equal. They are both equal. There is a point D such that the angles are equal this time. Okay. So this is theta. Then AD, what is the length of AD? Okay. Think about like this now. Let's start. Let's start making triangles and understanding one by one. First triangle for us, A, C, P. C is subtending an angle alpha. This is 90 degree. Height of the pole is 45. I hope you understand. This is a right angle triangle, beta. This is ACP. ACP and angle A is 90 degree. That's the vertical pole out in front of you. Okay. So what is this AC length? Can we find the AC length of the triangle, equilateral triangle? Let's say it is X. So we know that tan alpha is 45 by X. So this is tan alpha. Okay. The other, wait, there will be a time when you will understand this. Just a minute, okay? Now another one is at B. This one, beta. The green pole. Okay. Now, if you notice this one, you have this is as B. You are looking from C, and this is beta, not B. Okay. And this is the point Q. Okay. Now I will write in white. So this will be tan beta. Tan beta will be what? This is again the height of the pole, which is how much? 20. Okay. And this is BC. Now BC will also be X. Why? Because it's an equilateral triangle. So AB, BC, AC are all equal length. Correct. So it is X. So what is tan beta? Perpendicular upon this. Okay. Now you can see that alpha plus beta is 90. So can we write tan beta as tan of 90 minus alpha? I hope you also understand. Yes, we can, because beta is what? 90 minus alpha. Now what is tan 90 minus theta? Cot theta. So this will be cot alpha. Now you know tan alpha and you know cot alpha. I hope you remember one thing. If the angles tan into cot is 1, yes, tan alpha into cot alpha is 1. Correct. Now what is this? 45 by x times 20 by x. This will give us 1. This will become 900 equals to x square. Since x should be positive, it's a length. So x is 30. So what's the area, side of the equilateral triangle? It's 30 meters. That's very important, because now we will find the point D distance. That is AD. Now you know one thing, okay, that these are right angle triangle also. Okay, I hope you remember this. This is a right angle triangle also. Now you are just looking from, so just imagine one thing again. There is a front wall, there is the ground line of it, the bottom line of it, and someone is just looking from that ground line point. So some point he is looking at the top of that pole, the vertical opposite side of the wall. This is how I'm visualizing. Okay, so he is looking from this point to this point. Correct. So this is 90. No, correct. This is still 90. So what you will say? You will say tan theta is this value upon AD. Now let's consider AD as AD only. Okay. So tan, I'll make the diagram, don't worry. So this is D, this is A, this is point B, this is 45. Now this is theta this time. This is 90. So tan theta is actually the vertical length upon the base. So AD. Also, he is looking from this side. This is D, this is B, this is Q, and this is 20 meters. Correct. And this is again theta. The angle of elevation is same for both the poles from that point D. Okay. So tan theta is vertical upon this, whatever the base is. So DB or BD. Now you know both are equal. So 45 upon AD is same as 20 upon BD. Okay. So you can say 5 4s are 5 9s are. So 9 times BD is 4 times AD. But you already know that the length AB we already know. That's the side of the equilateral triangle. So what is AB, beta? AB is actually equal to X, which was nothing but came out to be 30. So we know AB is 30. Okay, this is already we know. Now if you know AB, you can write AB as, okay, I'll write it here. Okay, what is AB? AB is AD plus BD. Why? Because D was the point on AB. Correct. So AB plus BD is 30. So what is BD? It is 30 minus AD. It is 30 minus AD. What is BD? 30 minus AD. I want the length AD. Correct. They asked us to find the length AD only. So it is 30 minus AD. 30 minus AD. Okay. Now we'll simplify this. This will be 270 minus 9 AD equal to 4 AD. So 270 is equal to 13 AD. So AD is equal to 270 by 13. So 13 2s are 26. Actually 30 20 is 260. 10 is left. So 10 by 30. Let's match the correct option. 20 we need, and we need 10 by 13. Oh, option number B, the second option. Please rewatch this video if you are unable to understand it in the first time. I have tried my best to explain it through your room concept also. The room concept was better. This is the same diagram as per that room concept. Okay. Hopefully it will help you to understand it much better. So I'm stopping here, and we have completed 2 parts. This was all the type of question I could find on the internet and so on, where the stage 2 exam used had trigonometry based problems. We'll discuss next coordinate geometry based problems, and yeah, so I hope you'll keep on practicing and understanding the concept behind it, and hopefully you'll get good rank in your NTSC exam. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.